guys. Hey, what's up, normies? I'm your host, Terrence.
And I'm your co-host, Daisaku Edwards. And today we have another special guest on, and that special guest is the Honorable Troy Sambajon. He likes to go by the name Troy Sambajon to make it easier for people to say his name, but that's not his name, everybody. At most, he should be called Troy Sandwich.
Yeah, he
Am
likes
I
to
right?
do that sometime and say his name's Troy Sandwich and then tell people he never told you that. That's the thing he does, so be on the lookout.
Yep. Today we're going to be talking about, college experiences, how is college, and especially Troy's opinion, because right now he is at a college.
I mean, so are you, though.
So are you.
Hey, man, they didn't need to know that. All right? Now I'm going to get questions.
Saku's on the road of knowledge right now, so we're going to take bits and pieces from both of their experiences. Just really curious about do they feel like high school really prepared them for college?
So, let's get into it.
What about you first, Saku? Do you feel like high school prepared you for college?
Well, first, Terrence, let Troy introduce himself, man.
No, you already introduced
Welcome
him.
back. This is our alumni member, Troy.
Hello.
Welcome back, man. Tell us what you've been up to. Tell the people where you've been, your college. What's been going on, man?
So, yeah, like Daisaku said, I'm a former member of Club Stride. I'm a Club Stride alumni now. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you are.
Wow, yeah. And I'm currently attending the University of California, Santa Barbara, majoring in political science with a possible minor in history. And I'm back here for spring break.
Hey?
Hey, Saku's looking forward to his spring break sometime soon as well.
Yeah, my spring break didn't start until April 15th. So I got a while to go, and it only lasts a week. Frick. Love being a bio major, right?
So how you liking it so far out? You said in Santa Barbara?
Yeah.
How you liking it?
It's a lot of fun. It's easy to get distracted just because it's a really nice beach town. But so more incentive to just really stay focused. I'm spending a lot of late nights in the library just studying. It's definitely a grind.
It's definitely a grind.
Definitely a grind.
The long chase towards the chicken. Dang.
Yeah, I totally understand. Going to a beach city college myself, Solano Community College has the finest beaches around, especially by the Fairfield campus. But honestly, I can't be occupied by beaches, man. I can't. I spend most of my time watching anime. That's my biggest occupant of time. Yeah, my biggest distraction. So I have to really curb that away. But yeah, I totally understand you. Being in college is really 100%, or not 100%, I should say. At least 90% of it is time management. Being able to time management and discipline. Being able to tell yourself, no, I can't do these things, and then really just bunkering down. And is that the right term, or is it hunkering down?
Hunkering down, I think, is the saying.
There we go.
But bunkering down is a good one too, because it's like you're holed in and nothing can get in while you study.
Man, that sounds like a sad life. Anyway, but that's essentially what it is. You have to really make sure that you fully dedicate yourself to your studies so that you can get the best grades that you can, instead of just getting, just enough to get by, just enough so where you don't fail.
Yeah, adding on to what Daisaku said. Sorry. I think
Did you
it's
just
really
reach for chin here?
Huh?
Did you just reach for chin here?
there's some.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
You just
been
can't
a
see it, dude.
Yeah, adding on to what Daisaku said, it's true. And what I said, it really is a grind. You have to be fully committed to your studies, and especially when you start lacking, it's very representative in your grading. And so, yeah, you have to be focused. You may not have to dedicate all of your time, but you definitely have to dedicate all of your energy.
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what they say. Most people who have been in the corporate world or have started their own business or have been working for a long time, it's time management is the biggest thing. And I think even Daisaku said that he didn't feel really like his high school really helped him as far as time management or really prioritize homework or prioritize things. It was you kind of always had a chance to make things up, whereas at work or in college, from what I'm hearing from you guys, it really doesn't sound that way.
Yeah. High school was, I don't know, when I was in high school, I felt like as soon as I stepped in, I just got hit by the dum-dum stick. And then as soon as I left, it was just dum-dum stick, curse gone. I was no longer, for some reason, I just did better in my classes. I don't know why, but I do genuinely feel that high school is not adequate preparation for college. The stress level is different. The workload is different. the amount of hours you stay in there isn't really all that different, but the amount of hours you stay in uh, to one or two classes, because most people really only have like maybe one or two classes a day, whereas in high school you have six or
Yeah.
5 to 7
In
really.
Oregon, I had 4. Yeah, they split it up. It was 8 days and B days. It was 4. Technically, it was 8 classes, but it was 4 a day.
Having 5 to 7 classes a day
Yeah,
for a normal student, and to sit in each class for what hour and a half is it's just not it's unreasonable to assume that, because I shouldn't say it's unreasonable, because people do well in those classes, but being a kid, you're not going to want to spend time doing homework all day, and it's a lot of information to remember for 7 different classes, and a lot of work to do for 7 different classes. Don't really take into consideration your time, and that doesn't teach you how to manage your time at all. It just tells you, hey, use all your time for this particular thing. So, not really too good in terms of preparation.
it's almost like regular, or I guess would it be primary? It wouldn't be primary school, but like K through 12 is really geared around finding exceptional people. You know what I mean? Like the exceptional people are the ones who have no issue throughout. Sitting through all of the classes, not having breaks, doing all their homework, getting great grades on projects and tests. It doesn't really feel like it's geared towards making average or people who aren't exceptional, making them exceptional. So it feels like when you do get out of high school, from what I've heard from other people, it's like when you do get out of high school and you get into college, if you're committed enough, it kind of makes you exceptional. If you're committed enough or passionate enough. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
I don't know. It's just kind of different from my perspective, at least. For me in high school, I could like not pay attention in class, maybe sleep if I'm really tired. But if I do the homework, then like my grade will still be okay. In college, it's really different. That's like my main criticism of like preparatory, like high schools, in the sense like it doesn't really prepare you for like the responsibility of education itself. Because in college, like no one's gonna check up on you and be like, "Yo, your grades aren't looking too well,"
Yeah.
and you don't have that you don't have that safety net of homework, like of underlying credits if you like fail midterm.
Homework
So like
means nothing.
yeah, so if you fail a midterm or fail a final, you're pretty much done. It's very much so like an onus responsibility. Like you really have to take charge, and there's like none of that in high school.
Yeah, that's true. I think another thing is teachers. The quality of teachers is so different. Like math teachers in particular. So I'm a bio major, and I have to take an unexpected amount of math. I was expecting, I'm a bio major. All I need to do is memorize stuff. I got this. I took biology once in high school. I can do this. Um, Not really. A lot of math. But the difference is that the math teachers in college are like legit mathematicians. They actually, know math, and they have a high expectation of what they want to see from you. Whereas in high school, it's like your math teacher's your basketball coach or something like that. They don't really. Some high schools have genuine mathematician teachers, but I know at my high school, especially at Vanden, sorry Vanden, we had there's like one teacher that everybody knew was good at teaching geometry. All the other teachers, nobody wanted to learn geometry from. So it was like if somebody got that teacher, they'd be like, praise God. And if they got any other teacher for geometry, they'd like immediately fall into like a pit of despair, because nobody knew how to teach it. Nobody knew how to teach it. But like in high school, you could write x equals 14, and that's good enough. Maybe the most you'd have to do is x equals 14. Circle that. It's good enough. But in college, it's like you have to write x equals 14, then you write check, then write the equation out again, but plug in 14 to see if it's right. Then after plugging in 14, you have to answer it in a full sentence. And the college teachers won't tell you that until, I don't know, your first exam, when it matters. And it's like, oh yeah, so you would have gotten this right had you checked and said the solution to the equation or to the function f of x is 14 or whatever is 14. I said that 14 a lot. Sorry, I'm losing track of how many times I'm saying it. But it seems like it just doesn't. They don't fulfill the correct requirements or bring you up to the expectations that every other teacher in college expects from you. So it's like you start over from scratch.
I can see that. It's kind of like it's just to get by.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really about doing it right. It's just about getting by. I can get with that. I feel the same. So then, how do you? So I heard you say stress. How do you overcome some of the stress or different situations that you don't feel like high school prepared you for? How do you get ready for them in those? Do you just do it, or do you?
I want to hear Troy first.
Yeah.
What do you do, Troy?
Oh,
Come on,
most of the time when I'm stressed out about school, my friends recommend like, oh, you should just take a break or whatever, and I highly disagree. Just from personal experience, I'm like, no, because that's just gonna be making me more stressed out.
Yeah.
Because then I'll just think about all the work that I have waiting for me back at the dorm or back in the library. If anything, just like literally just speaking for me, like for me, I know just that once I'm like just doing the work, like sitting down, blocking out all distractions, and just doing it, then I feel better because it's kind of like I'm bettering my own situation by literally doing the work, trying to understand, but also internally, like, I'm feeling better about myself because I'm making progress
Right.
versus like stressing out away from work, just thinking about the work versus actually like conquering it.
I totally agree. That's the same exact thing I do. If I don't study, I'll just be freaking out. I won't be able to go to sleep.
Mm.
And then I'll just wake back up in the middle of the night just so I can study, so I can go to sleep. Or even though I might have like an exam or something that's, I don't know, 2-3 weeks away, I still have to like do my work, get up and study. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be stressed out the whole time. You can take a break, but the effects of taking a break only work for such a short period of time. They're very temporary. It's like, yeah, I'm playing some video games or something. And then 30 minutes in, I don't know, you see like you got 40 health left. And then you see 40 health and you go, 40, numbers, math, pre-calculus. And then you say, I have an exam on Thursday. And then you just start freaking out and the break doesn't work. Then like you said, it worsens your situation.
Mhm.
Then you just end up more stressed out than you were beforehand, and that
Okay.
impedes your studies.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I've literally like just been hanging out with my friends, and then like all of a sudden it'll just hit me like, yeah, I gotta go, and then I'll just leave and straight back to my dorm just so I can work.
Yeah,
Because once that hits, like, there's nothing that's gonna get off my mind. I just
Yeah.
gotta do it.
yeah, I feel you, man.
I feel it. So grind through. That's the number one. Grind through when you
The
feeling stressed or you
grind.
feeling
Always power through.
you feeling like
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean, but a lot of times it's the same way when you get into working. When projects or things happen, a lot of times you get tired or things are happening and you really just the same thing. You really
Mhm.
got to grind through.
Yeah,
So maybe college is the real work prep. Maybe that's the real
Mm.
to get you ready for it.
maybe, bro, maybe.
Well, then what do you think? So then I guess what about frick, I lost my wording.
You know what college doesn't prepare you for? Age gaps.
You said what?
Age gaps.
So true.
'Cause
Yes.
I go to school with like moms and fathers
Yeah.
and people who are married who are like, for some reason they look like, or I look old as them. I don't know what it is, but they look very young, but they end up being like 35 or something, and they're in the same class with me, and our way of communicating with each other and our thoughts are completely and totally different. So like if our teacher asks us a question about something, how we feel about it, it's like nobody wants to say anything because of that generational ideological shift in certain ways of thinking. So it's really weird.
But it's kind of interesting though when you are in those classes and you see like how the different generations kind of learn
Yeah.
and the way of doing things. Like there's always that older, well, for lack of better words, but there's always that like older black woman. These were my classes. Who came in with
Nah.
that? She came with that Steno notepad and a pen. You know what I mean? She just at her desk waiting for it, taking notes. And then there's that person who comes in with the laptop, and then there's the person who comes in with a binder or just a piece of paper. There's that person who hasn't let go of high school and hasn't realized that you need to bring your own supplies.
Yeah.
So that is like you see all the different ways that people think they're gonna tackle college.
Makes you feel bad too. Just a little bit. Just because not because I don't want to be in the same class as them, but it's because it's like they talk about, yeah, I have a kid and then I go to work and I'm like, man, I'm out here Out here struggling. I ain't even got no kid. I don't even got to go to work. Out here struggling with these assignments. It just makes you realize that, your situation isn't nearly as bad as it is. But like I said, I think it's something that high school doesn't prepare you for. They put you with peers your own age who think the same way you do mostly, talk the same way, communicate the same way, and then you go to college and maybe you're with somebody your age. Maybe. And that's if you all are like freshmen. Or that it might just be that way like heavily at community colleges. Because that's when people normally go into community colleges because they're older and they want to come back into school and whatnot. How about you, Troy? The same?
To a lesser degree, I'd say. Yeah, I feel like a lot in high school. There's a lot of like divvying up of like groups just based on like grade and age. And I feel like once you reach college, it's kind of like none of that really matters anymore. Especially since you can be a different grade than where you are based on credits alone.
Yeah.
For example, like because I took some APs in high school, even though I'm not done with my first year, I'm already technically a sophomore in credit standing. Yeah.
Gosh
Just
dang.
stuff like that. But
My boy Troy out here doing it, man.
But yeah, I'll just be like working in the library with my friend from class and they're just talking. And then I didn't ask them, but suddenly it just comes up. I was like, oh, like, wait, how old are you? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm like 25 next year. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Same.
I just turned 18 like a couple months ago. So that's
Relatable.
cool.
I feel it, bro.
All right, then what would you take from it? Like, if you could take things from your college experience, especially this being your first year and this being your second?
First, still, technically.
Yeah, this being, what would you take if you could take some things that you've learned in college, if you could give tips to, I guess, teachers or to schools, and you'd say, like, I feel like school would be better for high school students or better prepare them for what I'm going through. What are some things that you would take from your experience in college now?
I'd say, because not all teachers do this in high school. The syllabus in high school is like you need a pen, pencil, a notebook, and a backpack, and this textbook. Yeah,
we're gonna give you.
Yeah. One, if you give a syllabus, give your students like what you should be learning in the class, the chapters that you're going to be going through the class, when to expect exams and tests. Enough with the pop quizzes, man. if they don't study, right, and the pop quiz is to test if they're studying, the quiz will be an equal, it'll be the same if it's an expected quiz. They might study the night before and might do marginally better if they got a pop quiz. Besides that, put your notes on. Get like do they have Canvas? Do high schools have Canvas, or is that just purely?
I think it's I know what Canvas is. I have a thing called Gacho Space, so I'm pretty sure it just might be different based on like universities itself.
Yeah.
But they always have like
Yeah,
online resources.
Yeah,
I
they
think
should
I'll
have a
hear
platform like that.
I think I hear they're using Google Classroom.
Mhm.
And some of the teachers I know with some of the middle schools we like tutor with, some of their teachers will put like their homework assignments and classwork assignments up, and then they can see them like that way. But they don't have like a platform where they're putting. I don't think not all teachers have a platform where they're putting up notes from their presentations. Because a lot of times they're not using presentations. We were talking to Azaria, and she said a lot of times her teachers are just giving out worksheets, and they're just working on worksheets throughout the day.
Yeah, see, you gotta be engaged with your students, and get math teachers. That's something that just needs to be done anyway. But fix the syllabus or add more to the syllabus, and get some sort of Canvas-like program where you can put your PowerPoint lectures up. And so then the students don't have to take notes throughout your lecture. They can fully focus on the lecture and then study exactly what you just lectured about word for word, so that it doesn't have to be like, I wrote these notes and you're forcing me to write Cornell notes, which a lot of kids don't even really understand. And then they don't even use them later on.
Yeah.
And then, nobody uses them. I don't use Cornell notes. I learned Cornell notes 3 years in a row in high school. Don't use them because we got Canvas and I don't have to write notes. No, I don't.
But you do that, right?
I don't.
Oh, what?
I focus as much as I can on the lecture.
And then go over the notes.
And then I go over the notes on Canvas. If my teacher doesn't have a Canvas, Like my pre-calculus teacher, he doesn't have a Canvas. I just read the book. Everybody, almost every class or almost every STEM class requires you to get a textbook. Read the textbook. Learn from the textbook.
Mm.
If notes help you, take notes. I'm not like saying don't take notes if the notes help you, but I do think teachers should incorporate something like that. And for students, just study. That's
true.
it. Just and because thing about high school is you really don't only have to put 30 minutes a day into studying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only go through like maybe a quarter or
Yeah.
half of the book per year.
And it's super slow.
Super slow.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
It's ridiculously slow.
What about you, Troy Boy?
Oh,
It's a new nickname I just came up with.
Troy boy.
I'm not actually with it.
Disrespect.
Not actually with that. Mr. Sandwich. How about you?
it's better. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
better.
I don't know. Just my experience as humanities major. I feel like on testing, I feel like there should be true or false is dumb. Get rid of true and false. Because there's a 50-50 chance you're going to get it right. Like, no, my stats teacher actually said it to me. He says, we're going to have true and false on our final exam, but you have to explain why. Because if you don't have the explanation why, then people can just like go by luck throughout life. And that's a terrible way to live just based on chance alone.
We have that student we tutor, and he used to work all his classwork was always online, and he was getting A's and B's on assignments, and he was literally guessing through like 20 problem homework, and he was getting like good grades. And I was like, "How you do that?" He's like, "I'm just a really good guesser." And I'd be like, "Simplify this fraction." I don't know how to do that, and I'd be like, "Okay, you're in the middle of fractions unit. Hold up, please.
Nani?
Explain, buddy.
No, yeah.
Stop
I'd say like,
saying that.
just get rid of
Not even
chance
right.
alone. I say written responses are always better, especially like just think about like the effect that written responses have.
Mm-hmm.
You force people to like articulate their own thoughts, but you also force them to like have like a true understanding of what they're talking about,
Yeah.
rather than just like writing out random words or just circling random things.
Yeah, it creates a space for critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which is something that lacks, that I think a lot of public schooling does lack, because it's like I said, it's just trying to get students by.
Yeah, they just they just throw information in your face, but they don't require you to comprehend it.
Yeah.
Like I bet you only like maybe 4 students understand what the quadratic equation is. They might remember it as opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. But they don't
Just
know
so you guys know, Saku does that literally every time he says quadratic equation.
What do you mean?
You could do it. You say what it is.
I
Yeah,
think I
you-
understood that.
Yeah,
I think it's like no. That's your one.
I'm sure they could plug the numbers in. I'm sure they could remember it, but nobody understands where. A lot of them don't understand where it comes from. They don't understand the derivative or the history behind it. They don't comprehend the material that they're getting. So it's really just stored in the memory, but they don't get what it is they're doing. So they get a word problem or something about it, which requires comprehension, especially if they don't say this and this are two similar triangles or something, or the shadow of a cliff and the height of the cliff, how tall is the cliff. They won't understand that they're trying to tell you to draw a triangle and like figure it out for yourself. It just, teachers in high school should force, like you said, force students to comprehend. It shouldn't be, like you said, based off chance. It should be something where you teach them the very basics of what they need to learn, and then you give them problems that require them to move around those basics. So if you understand one equation and they want you to find something else from that equation, like was it density is, was it mass over volume?
I don't know.
I think it is. I think density is mass over volume. If density is isn't mass over volume, somebody comment on that.
Comment down below.
Also, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe button and hit that bell notification. Thank you. Anyway,
real gentle play.
But if it's that, they want you to find volume. Some kids don't know how to find volume. Some kids don't know that you can't divide something by 0.
Yeah.
When you see 1 over 0, people will just put equals 0.
Nah.
You have to put undefined. You have to put f of x 1 over or f of x 1 over x can't equal 0 because it is undefined. You have to put that answer. You have to understand why that works. But a lot of people don't, and they go into college, or they go into, even if they don't go to college, they go to the workforce. They're going somewhere totally unprepared because they've been living this like mushy, half-baked high school life experience. And I wonder, do you think that if they prepared them more for college thoroughly, that we might get more students who are more actively trying to improve themselves, less worrying about ridiculous high school drama that will really not mean anything in like the next year? Not even that long. Next year. Next couple 2 weeks maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's I don't know how you'd fix it, but it's just too generalized. I don't mean you talked about it. I talked about it with Dr. Rhonda and a few other people. It's just
Ramona Bishop as well.
Yeah, it's too generalized. And if it was more, I think you said you heard somebody talk about it on a podcast, and they were like saying how it should be like a basic understanding of like math and writing and a basic understanding of history, enough to be able to function as an adult. And then as you move into high school, really then start preparing students for, if they want to move into a career that's going to require more math, then they start pushing into algebra and focusing on math. Or if it's science, and they start pushing into that, but requiring every student to go into a higher science, or to learn calculus, or to learn algebra 2 in high school. And then they go to college and they're learning to be a history major, so they'll never use that stuff. I feel like it kind of kills the passion for learning, because it's like you've been doing it for so long, going into these classrooms and feeling like you're not getting anything out of it. You're just trying to do it because you're told to. So like, I feel like it kind of kills that, or stifles that passion that most youth go into middle school, go into at the end of elementary school with.
I agree.
Unless you have great parents.
Wait, so you're saying like,
so like a general,
as a middle schooler, we should be like fully functional capabilities of like math and writing.
So I'm saying like, like
we should have
fractions,
like understand what you need to be able to function normally in society. So like if I go to a store and I don't know if I'm buying juice. Let's say I'm buying juice, I don't know. And the juice costs $6, a really expensive thing of juice.
That's juice.
And I don't know, I give them, or it costs $6 and I give them 12. You should be able to know that you get $6 back. Let's not include tax on this. Not make it more difficult than it need be, right? Okay. You get $6 back. You should be able to know to do that. You should be able to understand that a quarter of time is, or a quarter is 1/4, or half is 1 second, or a third is 1/3. You should be able to understand that. You should be able to write a letter with the correct punctuation. You should be able to understand certain things about your body just normally. Just have a basic understanding of science and biology, or your environment, not just being told recycle.
Basically be able to kill your gen ed. You should be able to do everything, I'd say up to like pre-algebra, at least by the time you get to 8th grade. Right. And then high school should, in my opinion, I think it would be interesting to see how this would work. But and then move into a more focused way of doing things. So maybe there could be an assessment that helps you see what you'd like. So maybe you want to be a reporter, and in high school you're more focused towards
like an aptitude test.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a better word. You're more focused. You're more focused towards writing and research, or maybe you want to be a historian and you're more focused towards writing and research in history. But it kind of helps guide you and like develop that passion. Because imagine that we talked about that. Imagine if young people who wanted to be scientists, like from middle school or elementary school, were groomed to be scientists, not groomed to be mathematicians as well as historians, as well as writers, as well as everything, but they were really specifically pushed towards being that science, being a scientist. Imagine if people who wanted to be in fitness, or who wanted to I guess they're the same thing, but the people where you were able to be focused or groomed towards whatever it is that you were really, really passionate about. Imagine the level of excellence we would have in all the different areas.
And if you're not passionate about it, you don't find that out when you're 30. You find it out, I'm 16 now, and I'm realizing I'm not into quantum physics. I think I'm not down for it. I think I'm much better, and I like writing a lot more. I think I'll go into that. And so you can just discover when you go wrong, or when you aren't passionate about something, when you don't like something at an earlier age, and really get that discovery process out the way. So that way, one, you'd have much happier, more engaged students, and a higher success rates, instead of just lowering the quality of education or lowering the expectation of education. Um, but on a less serious subject, what's it like partying at college, huh? I mean, I honestly know what it's like to party at college, because at Solano Community College,
It
we're
goes up.
rager parties there, right? Yeah, definitely.
I'll be honest.
Everybody knows about that.
Where's the tat?
Where's the
Yeah,
tat?
dude.
You've been in a college
where's
that's
the-
on a beach. Where's your tattoo?
Yeah, where's the tattoo
Oh,
that
Where's the
make you?
piercing?
Yeah, that you're supposed to
I got
regret when you
nothing
get
right now,
older.
actually.
That's actually disappointing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wow.
I'm glad that you
I'm
did good
still
in your
choosing
studies.
between two tattoos, so either one, or yeah, between them is gonna be like Godzilla,
A koi
because
fish.
I have a deep respect and love for Godzilla.
Understandable.
I probably like either one. I'd get around like my ankle probably.
May I ask
That's
why?
Why? I don't know. I grew up with him. He's like, oh, I look up to
He chose a
him.
beach school.
It's
To
cool.
be close to
Oh,
him when he
yeah,
enters when he
That's
comes
true.
out
Not
of
He
why,
does come
but-
out the ocean.
That's probably why. He just doesn't know. Subconscious.
Maybe. I don't know. I like Godzilla a lot. He's like my childhood hero. I don't know why. I think it
Hmm.
was the part where it was like,
Destroying cities.
yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, man,
Troy's always dreamed of destroying
it.
cities. Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting.
And the other one is Toad from like Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
I just think it'd be funny. And no, and they're like,
I think
you
it'd
know,
be
like
funny.
you only like things are only bad when you regret. Like bad decisions only come from regret. And I'm like, will I be 70 and like look at my ankle and be like, I wish I didn't get that Toad tattoo? I'm like, nah, I'll probably still be funny then. Thanks.
Yeah, just don't get saggy ankles
Or just
for
wear
some
socks.
reason.
No, it's
I don't know.
So-
I don't know how you manage to get saggy ankles.
saggy ankle.
That's
It's
impressive.
probably a thing. It's actually probably a thing.
Probably not, but
I wouldn't
I'm
rule it
sure
out.
somebody has saggy
I would
ankles
not
somewhere.
rule saggy ankles out. You
Me
can have
neither,
saggy
bro.
knees, saggy elbows.
Snap. What about? Have you surfed yet?
I have not. Actually, I've only been in the water at the beach. Maybe
Do you
like,
actually go to a
twice.
beach college? Do you? Do you actually?
Hmm.
You sure?
That's what you make of it, really.
That's what you make of it, really. I mean, no. It's either a beach college or it's not.
So biggest question is, would you, if you could, or I shouldn't say that. Which one do you prefer, college or high school? Be honest.
Based on what?
Based on, I don't know, based on your contentness with life now. Are you happier? Are you doing better than you would? Or are you doing better in college than you are in high school in terms of academics, in terms of social life? Are you getting more opportunities? Or do you feel like your life is going in a good direction? Because I felt like when I was in high school, my life wasn't going anywhere. I felt like all I was doing was coming to the same place every day and learning things that I didn't want to learn about, to eventually get out and learn about something that I wanted to learn about.
I don't know. I feel like that question is really biased towards external factors outside of like actual academics.
Mm.
But I will say I do like college a lot better than high school just by academics alone. I'm not doing by any standards, any better in college. I'm actually doing what we call in the business worse. So, but I do feel way more engaged with my learning. I feel like it's a lot more in my control than someone just speaking at me. And I appreciate that. So even though I may not be like the all A student that everyone like wanted to be in high school, I still feel very content and very proud of the efforts that I have put forth in college.
Yeah, that's what's
Also,
up,
I
man.
learned there's a big difference. And you gotta learn this. There's a big difference between teachers and professors.
Yeah.
Teachers actually want to teach, and professors just profess.
Yeah,
And you gotta like, shh. Yeah.
for real. They'll just talk and
It's
talk and talk, and then look at the clock. Up, 4:15. All right, see ya.
No, yeah.
I have a
had-
question. No, sorry, should have asked during the lecture.
See you in office hours.
Yeah, goes to their office during office hours. They don't come in until 30 minutes after they're supposed to be there, and I already start my next class. Disrespectful.
That's super specific.
Yeah, cause it happened.
Definitely.
Cause it happened. because it happened.
It sounded off like you started off hypothetical, and then it
No,
got realer
that
and
was-
realer.
No, it's
That
because
was-
it
that's
happened.
definitely-
It's because they decided to go buy a sandwich and eat it in their car instead of buying a sandwich and eating it during their office
feel like-
hours.
Why
I
not
feel like
in
you
their
owe that
office?
teacher some forgiveness.
Why not like in their own office?
I don't know.
Because that's where you're gonna ask questions. Why they can't eat
Exactly. They just they just forget. They just forget.
Hmm.
It's disrespectful. All right. I come to your class. I sit there for 2 hours
2
listening
hours?
to you talk about gobbledygook.
What class is it?
I'm not gonna say it because no, I can't because then he'll know. He'll know I'm talking about him. I don't want that.
There you go.
Hmm?
I was just saying, let go.
Hmm.
You don't know how to wiggle.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Huh?
Daisaku, I do have a question for you though.
Hmm.
How do you think your experience is at a community college versus what you would perceive to be at a four-year
Hmm.
university?
Well, I mean, it's definitely better because nah, just kidding. Honestly, don't know. I mean, because I used to want to go to Stanford, and not used to. I saw a bunch of buildings at Stanford. I took tours there. I took tours at other colleges as well, and they looked very impressive. People there look chill. They look happy. At community college, it's more like you're surrounded by people who don't really want to be there. You're surrounded by people who don't take it seriously because you're surrounded by high schoolers for the most part. People who just got out of high school or they're taking classes for extra credits or something so that they can graduate. And unless you were like, you're experiencing some sort of sickness, you're not really there because you want to be. And so you're surrounded by people who don't give a crap. They're not really putting in a lot of effort. And then you're surrounded by the parents who have kids and they work really hard and they do really want to be there. But it's not nearly as bad as people make it seem. It's not like it's a trash can of a school. There's still good teachers. You still get actual professors and teachers. But I wouldn't equate it to an actual I shouldn't say actual because it is a college. I wouldn't equate it to somewhere like your school or like Stanford or UC Davis or Cal State East Bay or something like that. I'd say they're definitely different in terms of, of course nobody's living there. Well, as far as I know, somebody might be sneaking in at night.
They passed that law that said that if
Hey,
you're
you can-
homeless,
you can students can sleep in their
You
car.
can sleep in your car on the
Yeah.
Solano Community College campus.
Then people might be
You can sleep in
sleeping
the
there.
parking lot in your car.
Yeah.
Mm.
Then people might be sleeping there.
That's cool. I mean, it's not like tight that you have to live in your car, but it's cool that you can park there.
I think the only thing better about a community college is the opportunity for self-discovery. Like if you don't really know what you want to do, or you don't really understand, because most of the time, this is what actually reason why me and Terrence chose this conversation topic was because once you get out of high school, you have a very rough, unless you've done an extensive amount of research, you've talked with people who are in college, and even then, you still have a very sort of loose idea of what college is going to be like. You really don't understand the parameters that are necessary for you to, or parameters that are involved in doing better or doing good in college. You don't understand the volume of work. You don't understand you don't understand the value of one day or the damage that missing one day of class could do. The damage that missing an hour, 30 minutes could do to you. Especially if you're in like a very, very unit intensive class or unit intensive major, like a bio major. I'm taking 16 units. 16 units of all like very math involved classes there. So missing one day, I miss like 10 concepts in pre-calculus. They've gone over maybe 2 or 3 chapters while I wasn't there. So I have to learn the chapters by myself or something. when you go into a Solano or if you go into a community college, you better grasp what you need to understand. You learn to make the mistakes in a place that the gravity of making those mistakes isn't as intense. But now you understand what you need to do, and you understand where your capacity lies in these lines.
It's almost like high school continued,
Yeah,
just with a better,
yeah,
closer to what it would really be like at a
yeah.
4 year.
You just get better teachers and definitely more free time for sure. Because I had to, like last semester I had I had one class on Tuesdays and Thursdays that started at 8:30, ended at 10:45. I was free for the rest of the day.
Mm.
So not this semester though, unfortunately. I have one class that starts at 8:30 and I don't leave until 4:15 p.m. But but you get more free time. But you do learn more about yourself and your capacity to work. Like you learn whether or not you can work till 1 a.m. in the morning, study until 12 o'clock at midnight, whether or not you can read multiple chapters of a book over and over and over again in a single day, just so that you can really have a full grasp of the concepts that you just read. And you learn that you need to put in an extraordinary amount of work to do well. And even more so, you learn that there are people who are better than you. I mean, you learn that in high school, but it's even more apparent in college. There's a kid in my Chem 2 class, and I say kid, well, I'm 19, right? I think he's like 16 in high school. He has yet to get below 100% on every exam and every quiz, and he gets all the extra credit problems on there as well. What? I'm out here struggling to get 90s. So it teaches you to deal. It teaches you to deal with, having somebody be better than you. It teaches you to deal with time management, but it teaches you to deal with all those things before you get into Stanford, where they're really expecting something out of you already.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody expects the freshman year to kind of bomb, like they do in high school, because you don't know what's happening, because they know that high school hasn't prepared you very well for what you're about to go through.
Yeah.
They haven't prepared you for the teacher who assigns like 60 math problems in a span of, well, 60 isn't really a lot. Maybe.
I mean, for you, it is like your homework be taken. It's like one problem's half a page.
Yeah,
so,
because
I mean,
he has us write out the whole. He
dang.
has us write out the whole problem, but it's they don't teach you in high school how to deal with really brute teachers. Like a brute teacher in high school is like, he made me write a 4-page essay, and he still gives you like a B+ or something, even though you really wrote 3 pages and a bit of the top of the 4th page.
Just double.
Yeah, but in ours it's like you have to write 4 pages, but 4 pages in college means you started the 5th page. So technically, in high school standards, you wrote 5 pages, but you have to start the 5th page, and every essay is a minimum of 4 pages. And they're not nearly as strict about like MLA format. They teach you about it in high school, but nobody really enforces it. I could write anything. I could write Octopus's Poop Candy by George Smith, volume blah blah blah, and write all the rest of the stuff in there. Made up everything. They don't check. In college, they check. And if you plagiarize, you're donezo. It's over.
That's true.
It's way more brute, but it's so much more fun. So much more free.
High school, you're like, the majority of my teachers are not reading my papers.
No.
You're like, who's reading? We got 30 students in this class. Teacher's not reading all our papers. College, you're like, your teacher's like, I'm definitely reading every one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That boy, my pre-calculus professor, he looks at every problem.
That's crazy.
Every problem.
Imagine like graduate school where they're writing 10, 15-page papers. Imagine teachers having to read all of their papers. Solid.
That's silly, boy.
Yeah.
That ain't for me, Shen. That's why I don't want to be a teacher or a professor. I'm sorry. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for
your service.
teaching
military.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service to our country.
For real, thank you. But at the same time, Man, you guys' job is rough.
Unless you love it.
Yeah, unless you love it. Even then.
It's like mathematicians. We may not like calculus and all these different maths, but they love it.
Mm.
Same thing with writers and everything else. If you love it, you love it. If you don't, I guess keep doing it because you got to pay rent.
You know what? big tip for you guys, for everybody who's going into college: make friends with your professors. My mom, she told me this in high school, to make friends with my teachers. I never really took it seriously, but when I got to college, it became like a very big part of my success. Because let's say, I don't know, I didn't have enough time to finish something small. If they like you, they will go out of their way to maybe move the deadline up or something. And it's really important. Like my pre-calculus teacher, I think originally he would give us like a bunch of problems to do on Tuesday, and then we had the interval of Wednesday, and then it was all due on the next Thursday. But on Wednesday, I'm in Kim from the morning until 3:15 p.m. And then I have to study for Kim as well. And I have homework for Kim, and I have homework for my English class in LR10. And so I have a lot of stuff to do, including the absurd amount of work you just gave me. But now he assigns the work on Tuesday, and it's not due until next Tuesday. And it's because he likes us. I've been trying to get him to watch anime forever. He may act like he's annoyed by it, but I know he loves it, man.
I mean,
make friends.
That's one of those things. It's like every aspect of life, though. You get along with people, they treat you better.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're at the store and you go there often and you're just nice to the person at the cashier, and then they do stuff like you're 30 cents short and they still, it's good, go ahead. Or you go to something like the DMV and then they just handle your business right away, whereas the person who's super uptight or super acting just like they're better than that person on the other side of the counter tends to not get the help that they need because they want to be a jerk.
Yeah, it's true. I don't really have to be friends with my professors. Most of the time, I don't know what they look like up close. Because I sit, I sit this bigger rooms.
You go to real coolie, Jay. Yeah. You got to sit on far back and stuff. Yeah. I'm sitting in a high school classroom, dang man. Got little posters and stuff all over the room.
Professor right there.
Yeah, exactly. Reach out,
yeah. I have to. It's important to have like strong connections with whoever's grading your papers.
Yeah.
So for me, it's my TAs, and it's a lot easier for me to actually get to know and relate to them, because most of the time your TAs are like just graduate students. Sometimes they're not even like graduate students for your major. Like I took an earth science class, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like a computer science major, but they pay me." So.
gotta get this bread, Chen.
I know, yeah.
Cool. Well, once again, quick thanks shouts out to Troy for coming out.
Thank you, Troy Sambajon. He's out here on aka Troy Sandwich.
He's out here on spring break right now, about to head back to college in a few days. Good luck on your studies. Thanks for coming out and sitting down with us, giving us a little bit of knowledge about the college experience. It was cool hearing from both you and Saku about, I guess, basically just what you've experienced so far, the difference between this and high school, and kind of how I guess you guys kind of gave tips to other students as well, like on the low, as to how to be a better student or how to push through college and not feel defeated or like too much is being dumped on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thanks again. You guys got any last thoughts real quick that you might want to throw at a student? Let's say 10 words.
If you see Troy at school, make sure you throw that boy on a surfboard.
I feel like that was more, but I'm not going to count them all.
Don't matter.
Don't set too high standards for yourself. Just do your best. You can't ask for anything more than your best, and you'll only get disappointed if you do. So,
heck yeah, anime style. Do your best and believe in your friends.
Now I feel bad because I didn't say something serious.
All right, cool. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of What You Need. We've had Troy here with us. As always, I'm Terrence.
And I'm your co-host, Daisaku.
Take it easy, normies.
Deuces.
Yeah.